Alrighty, welcome back to the next episode of the new episode of Off the Dome Sports Podcast. We're waiting on an intro from a few of our friends, so bear with us as we get you all some intro music and outro music. But I like to think our voices are soothing enough, right? What
Yeah,
do you
they're
think, Skull?
nice, right? Yeah,
Yeah,
I agree,
good
bro.
voices, good Amazon mics, good voices to go with them. So if you're not content, then go
Shout out
fuck yourself.
Amazon for the toner. Let's get it.
All right, so today we wanted to talk about a few things, dual threat quarterbacks being the primary discussion. We'll
Mm,
also get
mm.
into some arguments or feedback or discussions on whatever we think the new modern day big man is going to look like in college basketball and the NBA. So, just some things that we have been talking about, on our own the last few days, and we said, you know what, we should put this in podcast form because I think it makes for great debate. I mean, everyone has their own opinions on who they think or what they think a certain quarterback style is, what they think about it, what they think their team needs. And then similarly to that in basketball, the big man is the big topic right now, right? Do you need him? Do you not? We see the Rockets playing small ball. We see, the Sixers running with big men all across the floor in point guard, power forward, and center. So we'll get into all of that today and some more. Skull, you want to kick us off on this dual threat discussion? We can kind of start out, I think, where this kind of came from. If you
Yeah,
want.
yeah. So, little precursor here for you guys. Me and Miles did get a little bit heated when we first brought up this discussion. So, it started with Spencer Rattler, right? So, I just brought up the fact that Miles being a huge Oklahoma fan, right? And I'm an Oklahoma supporter, sure. Like I like Spencer Rattler, and he's gotten some heat this past season as it's
It's
been
the
going
truth.
along. Yeah, well, here's what I'll say though. Here's what I'll say. I am not going to even get into whether or not how good Spencer Rattler is compared, moving on to the next level compared to college quarterbacks right now. He's great. We'll just leave it at that. But the discussion centered for us around what he is as a quarterback and what his game is going to translate to at the next level, right?
Hmm.
So before we even talk specifically about his game, let's just lay out what we have in terms of quarterbacks making it at the next level in the NFL and even success in college. What kind of quarterbacks are you really dealing with if you're going to bracket it out? So I would say you have your pro style quarterback, your drop back quarterback kind of guys, like Tom Brady kind of guy, just going to get the play, do his thing at the line, get the snap, drop 3 steps, look for his first read, second read, third, throw it away. So you got that kind of guy. There's obviously an avenue for success for that kind of quarterback in the NFL. That's probably the most long-standing way for success in the NFL as a quarterback. So we have that, the pro style drop back.
Definitely fading now, though. You were seeing a lot more of
100%.
our dual threat quarterbacks. But keep going.
Yeah, no, 100%. And that will lead into, the point that I'm trying to make here, I guess, against your argument. But anyway, so yeah, we got pro style drop back, and then we got your straight up scrambler, right? Like, so the kind of quarterback that Lamar came in as, he's moving more towards dual threat. And that's why he obviously won the MVP last year. That dual threat aspect was what put him over the top. But he came in as a complete scrambler. And then you've had tons of guys come in with limited success as a scrambler, Tim Tebow, Johnny Manziel, even a little bit. And as a scrambler in the NFL, if you're purely that, you're even today, you're rarely going to see like long-standing success. I mean, Robert Griffin may be a good example of somebody who had very limited success as more of a scrambler, but even he had a pretty good arm. He wasn't a terrible, pocket passer. I would say injury probably derailed his career the most. But yeah, so that's the second kind of quarterback. You got pro style drop back, you got scrambler, and then you have right there in the middle the prototypical millennial 2020 best quarterback, and that's your dual threat guy. So those kind of guys are, in my opinion, right now dominating. Miles, you even said it. Those kind of guys are dominating the NFL. So you got like Russell Wilson and those kind of guys who are definitely able to scramble and can do it whenever they need to and are very good at it, but they don't really necessarily look to
So,
scramble.
so let me stop you here. So then, is your distinction between, and I think this is where we got off track in the last episode after when we started talking about this topic, is your distinction more of like the the middle ground between your pocket passer and your dual threat quarterback or your rushing quarterback, people like Baker Mayfield and Mike Vick, like the improvisers, not necessarily run first, but will run if they need to. Like
Well,
I'm very confused on
okay,
where
okay.
the distinction
So
comes because
no, go ahead.
because the main argument that I had said, before when we were having this conversation was I thought that, dual threat quarterbacks are, the people who are gonna go not necessarily like rushing quarterbacks, but it seemed like you were throwing rushing quarterbacks and dual threat quarterbacks under two separate lenses. So
Um,
guys like Lamar weren't considered dual threat quarterbacks; they were considered rushing quarterbacks. And then what I was trying to say was, no, no, no. Like Spencer Rattler, yes, he's a little bit mobile, but he is a pocket passer. Like at heart, if this game was dual threat or if it was only rushing or pocket passing quarterbacks, no dual threat or whatever we take that, at right, he would be a pocket passing quarterback. He'll move now, and I think that's an element that he's adding onto his game. But like if you watch him in, high school, even the limited snaps that he got, like his mobility is nothing that says, we need to put a spy on him every single time he takes a snap in shotgun formation and things like that.
Okay, well, I'll hear you out there. I will, but I think my argument is a little bit more in this avenue, right? So you're kind of getting on the track of if Spencer Rattler had the choice, he would be a pro style quarterback, drop back in the pocket kind of guy, and I'll say I don't really know why you would think that. I would say in this NFL, he's better served to try to be a little bit more of a dual threat quarterback. I mean, I guess my
I
argument's
agree.
biggest premise, no, my argument's biggest premise is that the top quarterbacks in the NFL today, maybe even top, besides Brady and Breeze at this point, I would say the top 10 guys, all of them are considered dual threat quarterbacks because they can throw and pass whenever they needed equally. That's my argument.
Yeah, yeah. Well, so this is what I'll say, right? And I think this is where the argument kind of gets, taken away from face value. Yes, Spencer Rattler is a quote unquote dual threat quarterback, right? But the way that we had this argument the other day seems like you mentioned that every dual threat quarterback was like there was a difference between uh, how did it go? It was like there was a difference between dual threat and rushing, right?
Well, yeah,
Can
then there
we?
is, and I agreed with that. And I think that the main thing is you seemed to take out the idea that you to me seemed to mesh that dual threat with scrambler, whereas I feel like there's a very very defined three brackets of quarterback where I feel like you kind of leaned more towards, well, more of these guys that you're talking about are pro style, whereas I'm putting a lot of guys in that dual threat. Like I think the extremes at this point are scrambler and pocket quarterback. Like if you're
So
looking at a bell curve,
define some scramblers for me, just so like in the like Justin Fields, dual threat quarterback, correct?
right? Justin Fields,
Okay.
dual threat quarterback. I mean, well, I mean, we can go through college guys. I would say Justin, a lot of them at this point. Man, I would say all of them. I would even say Trevor Lawrence is a dual threat quarterback. I truthfully
But
would.
I just don't think, and I guess maybe that is my problem. Maybe I think that every dual threat quarterback is just ingrained as a rushing quarterback now, right? You
Right.
see, because there's so many of them, right? But
Right.
but my thing is, you know, at what point do you differentiate between dual threat and pro style passer? Because you have guys like Trevor Lawrence who are 6'5", 230, 240, who literally, they'll beat you with their legs. And we saw that in the playoff game between Ohio State and Clemson, where, had not Trevor Lawrence ran for a few first downs, that game is drastically different
That
outcome.
70-yard touchdown was the longest
But
one that Ohio State gave up
yeah,
all year.
I
That was wild.
absolutely, but like Trevor Lawrence is another guy who is not as mobile as some of the other dual threat like. So what I'm saying is we don't have guys like Kyle Trask, guys like Trevor Lawrence in the same conversation as mobility as we do guys like Justin Fields and
Mhm.
other quarterbacks around college or the NFL.
Okay, I mean,
That
I'll
makes
give
sense.
you, yes, that 100% makes sense. That 100% makes sense. But what I'll say again is I think that you are severely, severely, severely hurting your chances as an NFL quarterback these days if you try too hard to lean on your pocket style, your pocket passing. It's the dual threat quarterback is what people are looking for now. So like I think it's like a given almost that good quarterbacks are dual threat, because if they aren't dual threat, then they probably aren't one of the top quarterbacks anymore. Like that's just how it is. So to me, I'm more saying the pro style of quarterback is just not one that quarterbacks in college and even in the NFL should be striving for anymore. It just doesn't really make sense to me.
Yeah.
So in that breath, the best quarterbacks are all dual threat. That's kind of what I'm saying.
So if you were a franchise and you've seen the year Mac Jones has had, you're telling me that you wouldn't draft him to try to build around him?
No, I would still draft him, but he has severely. If you go 5 years ago, even 10 years ago, I would draft him first round. Now, like, I mean, I'm not trading any. I'm not trading up to get him. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. And you see that people are trading up to get Justin Fields. I mean, Trevor Lawrence doesn't matter any era. This kid's amazing, but Justin Fields is more so, I think, better suited for this era. And we see teams like I've seen draft boards where he's going second. I've seen draft boards where he's going 25th. So I think that. No, go ahead.
Who do you think's better, Justin Fields or Trevor Lawrence? No bias included.
No bias at all. I got the Clemson shit. Terrible timing.
Always have to make a distinction, right?
But dude, no bias. I don't even have to say no bias. It's Trevor Lawrence. Trevor Lawrence, in my opinion, is the best prospect we've seen since maybe John Elway, honestly. I mean, Andrew Luck was really crazy too, because obviously we have all these prospects but I'm talking about like the guy who you came out of high school and you were like, this dude's the number one pick right away. Trevor Lawrence is the best guy since Elway, in my opinion, in that. Because we didn't see out of high school, like Mahomes was, so he came out and then was good. But Trevor Lawrence.
I feel I'm indifferent to either. Like I would love to have both, obviously, right? But it's weird because I don't have the same infatuation, if you will, with Trevor Lawrence like the rest of America does. I think, great quarterback, probably a great guy as well. I'm sure he's going to do big things at the next level. But Justin
Who do you think's
Fields,
better, Trevor Lawrence or Burrow then?
Burrow had an ungodly year, but if I was it's hard to say. I really don't know. If I had the number one overall pick and they're both in the draft, I'd choose Trevor Lawrence, hands down. Actually, because Burrow is a system quarterback. I mean, but he's shown me this year that he's a good quarterback.
Is he dual threat in your opinion, Burrow?
No, not at all.
Wow. See, I would say he was. I really would say he is. The kid uses his legs.
He uses his legs, but when it's not to me, dual threat quarterbacks are. I'm going to look for, my reads first. I'm going to go when I need to take it. But to me, Burrow is I'm going to look for my read, and then I'm going to look for my read again, and then I'm going to extend the play. And I think his IQ is just so high where he sees everything before and can extend the play faster than some of the other quarterbacks that we watch. But I don't think he's necessarily dual threat. Does that make sense? And I might be having a hot take.
No.
Our listeners might be like, what's good with you,
what
bro?
The heck, dude? Who even cares? No, bottom line, I
Max
think the
Kellerman
vibes.
vibes.
Skip Bayless, bro. Even worse.
Yeah, honestly.
No, I think the main thing that we're kind of beating around the bush here to get to is like these quarterbacks are just like next level. Like dudes that come out now are just good at everything. Like they've been playing like 7-on-7 since they were like 11, 12 years old at this point. So these kids are just polished and they can run. They're like the best athlete now becomes quarterback, right? And it used to be like guys would play wide receiver, but now it's like, dude, if you're the best athlete, you're going to be the point guard, the quarterback, and the pitcher. Yeah. Like it's like ridiculous.
Yeah, no, it's actually pretty nuts. It's crazy how it shakes out, right? Because it's almost like, what is it going to look like in 20 years? I mean, dude, I played soccer, I played volleyball. I didn't play, basketball outside of pickup or anything crazy like that.
You ran it at U Park, the vibes.
Yeah, the vibes. Flag football, all that good stuff. But I didn't play like competitive basketball or competitive football. I just wasn't good. My stepbrother pretty much outshined me and everything. Shout out to him. He just dropped 38 points last night.
Yeah, you said that, right?
Yeah. So on Fresno State, I think, but or whoever the heck they played. But regardless, right, what I'm getting at here is, man, like the athletes – even when I was in like 7th, 8th grade watching them win national championships and like AAU basketball, I was like, yo, these kids are like huge, bro. Like what the heck are their parents feeding them? So now like
never think they're the same age. I would always be like you 15.
Yeah.
I'm like, dude, this kid is 26.
Yeah,
Like,
where's the
just
birth
balling on me.
certificate? Seriously. Like,
But no, a lot of the times they were actually just 15-year-olds. It's just unreal.
Just massive 15-year-old. But I'm like, now it's only gonna get crazier, don't you think? Like there's probably gonna have to be some form of check. I think we lost Skull here. All right, so we kind of lost connection there due to some unforeseen difficulties, but it sounded like we were just kind of getting to the end of that discussion, right? So what I'll say is this, right? What originally sparked the discussion was the talk of Spencer Rattler. Yeah, he was recruited as a dual threat quarterback. Do I think that he's shown me enough in his games to be a dual threat quarterback at the next level? No. Like, I truly think that he is a pro style passer. And like, this is what I'll say is a lot of people compare him to Mahomes. Mahomes, yes, I think is a dual threat quarterback. He does some off the wall stuff with his legs.
Mahomes might be his own category, yo. Like that's
exactly.
Just
Mahomes. But Mahomes does that whole thing where he looks for his read once, looks for it twice, looks for it a third time, and then he goes. And it's very rare that he's really taking off unless he has to. So that's what I see.
For 80 yards down the field. Yeah, so it's easy.
Exactly. That's what I see out of Rattler a lot. So we'll see. I mean, we'll see what happens.
We will see. Exactly. We'll see.
I mean, but that kind of sums it up for me. You got anything else to add on this?
Yeah. No. I think that we'll agree to sort of disagree because I think I'm right, but nah. But no. So we were getting into it a little bit before we had some technical difficulties. We were getting into it a little bit about your brother and like AAU basketball and seeing all these kids. And that goes right in line with what we're saying. It's just like you got dual threat quarterbacks, you got 6'5" point guards, you have 6'10" centers who are handling the ball just now and stuff like that.
All around athletes, dude.
Just straight up ridiculous athletes. And you see it in all sports, but like I feel like especially in football and basketball, like you just see the craziest of athletes. I don't want to be biased here because I know there's like soccer fans all around the world that are probably gonna hate to hear this if they freaking listen.
Let's hear it, dude. Let's hear it. I used to play soccer. Let's hear it.
Yeah, no. But I think the best athletes in like if the athletes that played football and basketball ended up playing like for the U.S. soccer team, we'd be the best team in the world, dude. Like our best athletes just choose to play football and basketball.
Yeah, LeBron James as center mid,
as a goalie, bro. How are you gonna score?
You gotta put Yao in as goalie, honestly.
Dude. Yao is Chinese. He's got them, bro. He was made in a lab, dog. That doesn't count. LeBron just came out of the hood. Like we're organic in America.
Yeah. My favorite argument is like the LeBron as a tight end, like just dubbing, winning.
See that we don't have to get into that argument too much, but I mean he would be like the tall, like who's he blocking? Like let's be real, like he's not like a big like ass guy, but he could, I'm sure.
Yeah, but in a college strength training program, he probably like balls out. I mean, what do you think? What do you think? LeBron goes to Ohio State and they won a BCS like national championship in like 02 or 03 or whatever.
Dude, maybe, bro. I mean, Draymond was a tight end. Wasn't Draymond a tight end for Michigan State?
Was he actually?
Spot. Yeah, dude. I think he was at least on the practice squad. He might have gotten in some games. I promise you that. You don't even have to fact check it. I know. Draymond was a tight end. He was nice at Michigan State, like on the basketball team, but he also played tight end. But yeah, see. you can. No, is it?
Yeah, in a spring game, it says he played tight end and drew a flag for a false start.
All right.
So classic.
He played. But all right. Anyway, yeah. So we'll leave that discussion there. We'll leave it at athletes are insane these days, and that's all we really have to like. That's just great, right? We're all watching this, and it's awesome. But yeah, we'll move into the basketball realm here. I know our last episode was strictly focused on football, a little bit of basketball here and there, and then even now we started with a bit more of a football gravitated discussion, but. Lo and behold, we are here. My favorite segment we've done so far, the college basketball segment. So I will let you give a little bit about you because I have a lot of thoughts here. My dad is a huge college basketball fan. It was like the first sport that he honestly introduced me to. I think the first like sporting event that I really was like a part of, I guess you could say, was March Madness in like 2006 when like Florida and Ohio, when Greg Oden was on Ohio State and Florida had like Joakim Noah and all them. I think that was like the first like sporting event that I really watched like start to back. And so I really got into it from there. Love it. Love watching it. It was tough as hell last year not to be able to, or the end of this year to not be able to get March Madness. It was like the only thing that COVID actually took away from us was March Madness 2020.
Yeah.
Such a shame, such a shame. But yeah, they're trying to get it going again now. It's going to be tough. They're going to apparently have the March Madness be in a bubble. I really don't know how it's going to work
Don't know how
out.
that's gonna work.
Dude, and a lot of games are getting canceled, just like college football, basketball. Like 20 games a week are canceled.
So just to segue into that, my stepbrother had like 3 games canceled before they played their first game, which is I think why he went off for 40 last night, just because like
get
when
his
is he going to
points
play
in,
again?
yeah.
But
Dude,
but
no,
also
seriously.
but also it's like I thought the whole argument about the NCAA was they can't do bubble like formats for games because they'd be considered professionals or something like that. I think
Dude,
that's just an archaic rule in itself.
no, I mean, like, I don't honestly know why, but they did originally say, like, the March Madness committee was like, we will never be in a bubble. I don't know if, like, that was just, like, them logistically thinking
even
how
though
would it
it's
work.
like clearly worked.
And, dude,
you
and
could
they're
do
about to
regional
do it.
bubbles. Yeah.
That's what they're doing. They're doing, like, regional bubbles. Like, I'm sure
Mhm.
they'll have, like, big stadiums that, you won't be able to leave. But
Yeah.
regardless,
So
we'll see how it happens. We'll see how it works. I'm hoping for the best here. But, yeah, do you have any, like, initial thoughts on college basketball before I really get deep into it?
I think so far we've seen, that teams aren't appearing as what they've been in the past. So we're seeing that with Kentucky, right? They're on a 3-game skid. We're seeing that with Duke to some extent. And Coach K's excuse about, playing in COVID was it might be valid to some extent, but it was shocking to hear him say that
For sure,
as
for
as
sure.
they start to skid a little bit. So we're seeing some of the true blue bloods not perform up to their standards, but it's 2020. It's a weird year, so we'll see if that continues.
Yeah, I actually saw like this crazy statistic. It was like the first time in I don't know, I want to say how long, maybe like 2 decades that John Calipari, Coach K, and Jim Boeheim all lost on the same day. It was like nuts.
That's
I don't know
nuts,
if that's
actually.
exactly the stat, but it was like something crazy like that. Y'all can fact check in the comments for me. But yeah, no, continue if you had anything.
Yeah, I think the big man is also another crazy thing in college ball. So we're starting to see some of the evolution
Oh, yeah.
of the new big man, which I don't know what our viewers' thoughts are on this, but I'll kind of give you my thoughts, right? So the way that I see the big man in the NBA now is you have your traditional guys, right? You have your Dwight Howards, your Zach Randolphs before he retired, your Tim Duncans, the guys that are posting up and they're like, feed me, feed me. We've got those guys. We've got your who I guess who's the best way to describe this one? I guess like Al Jefferson, who would be more so
That's
of
a
your like
throwback. Al
be
Horford,
more of
maybe.
your more of your smaller ball, guys who are doing, trying to do it all. Good defense, but aren't really, crazily dominating in the post. I mean, Al Horford has had some games, of course, but he can shoot, right? He can do his thing. Then you
Yeah,
have
no,
your
he developed his game to be able to do that. I mean, he was a
yeah,
shooter. Again, that's another kid on that Florida team, actually, that with Joakim Noah. I'm pretty sure
yeah.
Horford was on that team too. They were dominant. But yeah, no.
And then
There's actually no. Go ahead.
yeah, I just wanted to get into this one, and then I felt like I was on a cliffhanger here. You have your new big man, right? And this is kind of how I think about it, right? I don't think it's someone that's entirely just like a lot of people like to say a big man that can just shoot the three. I think there's 2 arguments to this, right? You have your stretch 5s and your stretch 4s, your guys like KD who are literally just 7'1" and can just pull up from anywhere on the court, right? But that aren't going to always play as true centers. This gets into your guys like who's a good example of this? Clint Capella, right? Who shoots at a pretty high clip. We've got Joel Embiid who
Clint
can pop it.
Capella, he
He
sucks,
shoots
dude.
okay in the past. He has shot at
Well,
like
I'm saying
60%.
like,
He had a season where he shot
you're
like
saying
6.
like on all layups. Yeah,
Yeah,
dude makes all layups
yeah.
and he gets. I
But I'm
got you.
saying, yeah, but I'm saying like you have your guys like Embiid who might be good for 1 or 2 threes a game, right? Like guys like that. But the bigger piece to that is the guys who are elite, like playmakers in the sense of off the ball, like they're gonna make the right play and they're gonna make the right pick. They're gonna be there to block your shot at the rim. And they're athletic as crap in the sense that they're not going to get left behind on the floor as well. They're going to hustle and get down the floor. That's my big man. And I think we're starting to see that in college ball as well. So that's really cool. That's one thing that I've been seeing a little bit.
Yeah, no, That's definitely something that we're seeing, and it's interesting now. I do want to get specifically, so with at least in terms of like teams in college right now, it's kind of hard to really get a feel for who's good. Like Miles is saying, a lot of the best teams have had problems with not being able to practice because of COVID, so it's hard really to see who's good. But players themselves are, it's always fun and easier to see who's playing well, who's really out there for like the Wooden Award and stuff like that. And speaking of big men, Luka Garza on
Oh my
Iowa,
gosh, that kid is a
dude,
beast.
he's a beast. And like, it's funny. We're talking about like these like super like crazy athletic guys and all that stuff. But then you come to Luka Garza, who was like, actually, one of my friends from school, Goldsby, Miles,
Yeah.
nobody else does, but Goldsby knows himself. He apparently told me that he played like little league baseball with Luka Garza, and the kid was just like a total like unathletic, stiff, big guy. Like,
Right.
was good at basketball because he was huge, but like he was not an athlete.
Good is an understatement. He was putting up like 24 and 10 like as a junior last year. So
yeah, no, as a junior last year, there was talk he might come out, but like his game, that's the thing. Like at his core, though, he isn't like this huge like athletic guy. He does have a good jump shot because
but give him like an NBA strength program and he's straight.
No, and yeah, he's a big dude, and he's dominating right now for Iowa. He's gonna win if barring injury, I would see no way he doesn't win the Wooden Award. He's the best player in college basketball right now, and yeah, like Miles said, last year he averaged 24 and 10, I believe, a little bit under that. He's like the 6'11" big guy. Check him out. It's hard to watch Iowa. Because it's five white guys just shooting
like
the whole
Duke
time.
Back in the day, yeah.
Yeah, and like Wisconsin, but they're good. Like they are really good. But yeah, outside of Luka Garza, we do have some other talented players like Cade Cunningham on Oklahoma State. I know that's your rivalry team right there.
Freshman point guard right there. He's a beast.
Yeah, he's going to be nice. He's more of like that kind of guy that's like going to be a lotto pick, no doubt.
Yeah, I mean, and this goes to your point. I mean, like just athleticism, right? He's like what, 6'7", 6'8", running point guard.
Running point guard, bro. He's literally 6'8", 220, and he's a point guard. It's like what, dude? That is a power forward in some eras.
So if you're an NBA team, are you drafting Cade Cunningham first or Luka Garza?
I'm actually, dude, if I'm an NBA team, I got to see something like crazy from Garza to even take him lottery. Like, I just am a little bit nervous because I don't see him being a good defender at the next level. I just don't see it. He is definitely slow on his feet. Like he actually has good footwork as an offensive player, but defensively,
yeah, I think he'll get there. I don't think that he drops out of the lottery, but if it's me, I'm taking Cade Cunningham, probably number one, just because of the age, right? He's right on par with being. I mean, there's a whole host of guys like Jalen Green and a few others who went the whole opposite route of college basketball. Right. So that's a whole nother conversation.
Right, and we had. Yeah, no, and I mean, like we saw in this past draft, we had LaMelo Ball and RJ Hampton, who didn't play a single play in college basketball, and they were still top picks. So that's a route you can take. It's actually more common than it's ever been in this day and age for kids to just say, I'm going to go make money playing basketball overseas and then get drafted and make more. I respect it at this point. I love like to see kids go to college because I'm a big college basketball fan. But I mean, you got to go get that bag. Like, I get it.
Yeah.
But no, and I do agree with you that I would probably say Cade is the top guy. But I really, really love this kid, Dosunmu. I think you say it.
Dude, I was from the Fighting Illini of Illinois. I was about to say that he's a guard. He's a beast.
Another just huge guard.
Just dropping like 23, shooting 50% from the field. He's nasty.
Yeah, and he actually does. So he was a freshman last year. He came back. It was a little bit surprising that he came back. But now he's
a junior, I think.
Oh, even a junior, yeah. He's not a freshman. Like, this is a kid who's been around. And he's more of. I think he needs to work on his jumper a little bit. He's not like a very natural shooter of the ball, but I really, really love his tenacity on defense. Also, he's another one of these, like we said, crazy athletic kids, and I think he's going a little bit under the radar. He's kind of like, to me, he could take that Ja Morant route where it's like, where did this kid, like, where has he been? Why is he all of a sudden good now? Yeah. But he, like I said, he came back to school, so that should help his case in terms of like improving his game for the next level. And Yeah, so I would say that's my sleeper, and then we got some other good players like
What? Mhm.
Jared Butler on Baylor,
Yeah,
another
he's a
guy who
beast.
came back. He's a beast. I like Gillespie on Villanova.
Yeah, he's a beast as well.
He's like this like typical like shooting like point guard. I again not
But
this day and age
also
he'll
like a
transfer.
great floor general as well. Sorry to cut
Oh
you off
yeah,
there, but a great like
no,
if you watch him play the game, right? He is the perfect man to be the one guard on your team because he's gonna really, slow the game down. He's gonna find the right pass and he's gonna drop you a good cool 15 points a night as well. So you really can't have a better guy like that as well. Really good basketball
no.
IQ.
Yeah, no, he's like your typical Villanova guy, and he'll lead
Mm-hmm.
them to a good season this year, no
And
doubt.
that's good enough to league you, right? Being a good Villanova, typical Villanova guy is good enough to league you.
Exactly. Yeah, he'll get in the league, no doubt. But I'll leave it. This is the last guy I want to talk about that you guys probably have heard of. I feel like his name is kind of cool, so a lot of people have heard of him. Also, has a great coach in Hurley, Remy Martin on Arizona
Mm-hmm.
State, another guy who came back. He is more so your prototypical like 6 foot guard, right?
Yep.
But so that's hurting him a little bit in terms of his stock. But I still think he's a lotto pick. I really like him at the next level, big time. Like, give me the ball, I'll get a bucket for you kind of guy. Um, I think Arizona State is going to be a little up and down because I don't really know about their defense, and honestly, I don't know. I have something against Hurley. I think he's a little bit overhyped. I'll be honest with you.
Yeah.
Definitely going to get hate for that. But
Mm-hmm.
yeah, so in terms of college basketball, look out for those players. Like I said, it's going to be hard for me and you and anyone to sort of like feel out how the teams are looking right now because it's so early. But I do like Kansas. I think Kentucky's going to end up figuring it out. My team, my blood is orange. I love the Syracuse Orange. We'll see about them this year. Buddy Boeheim is out
So
right now. He's Jim Boeheim's son. He's probably their best player. So they
yeah.
haven't done too well. They just lost to Rutgers, who's right up the road from me, and they're really good this year.
So
Harper's a
so
beast
I
on.
wanna I wanna backtrack about 30 seconds to your comment about Remy Martin, right? He is a beast, man. I mean, dude is honestly, 6'4", but or 6 foot, right? But I think we've seen this year a jump in his playmaking ability, and I think that's what he needed to really differentiate as he looks to be a lottery pick uh, in the next level, right? Also,
Yeah.
quick note on that, so I have a buddy from high school who actually played about a year at Arizona State and knows from me, so that's really cool
A
stuff
word?
as well. Um, yeah, Daquan Lake, we used to call him Lake. In high school basketball, he was electric because he was just so much taller than everyone
Dude, if
else.
he's on Arizona State, kid's a beast. I mean, that's
Yeah,
D1. That's
he's
that's that's
he's
the real deal.
he's graduated now, but
Okay.
another name I wanted to throw out before we move on from this is Marcus Garrett from Kansas. I
Yeah.
mean, everyone
Yeah, I
should know
mentioned
who he
him.
is.
He'll be a good
Yeah,
player. He will be a good
yeah.
player. Um,
Defense is really like I said, dude. If you don't get left behind, if you're a big man, I mean, Marcus Garrett is 6'5", but he's 195, 6'5". He's a beast on both sides of the floor. He'll give you a quick 10, 12, 15 points a night, consistently, but his defense is the differentiator because when you can slow down, your guys that are able to create and make shots from anywhere on the floor, the next level, like that's what you look for. The defense, man, Andre Roberson, Pat Beverly, they're not by any means great guards. They'll give you, Andre Roberson will give you like 6 points, but he straps on the other side of the floor. So if you got a guy that'll give you 10 to 15 points a night, but he'll strap up, I mean, that's a lottery pick to me as well.
yeah, no, he'll be lottery. This I think he was defensive player of the year last year, so
Yeah,
he's going to be
straps.
lottery, no doubt. He straps. But all right, yeah. So look out for those guys. We'll keep you updated as the season continues on those kind of guys or on those guys' performances.
Yeah.
But
I,
let's get no. Go ahead. One more thing you want to say?
and I was gonna say I think we mentioned and this was just a discussion we had outside of this that we were gonna start really hammering the college basketball bets as that season starts to progress. For me at least, it's a little too early. I've got a few plays
It is
that I
way too
make,
early.
but no
Way
data,
too
no
early.
trends, no nothing to
There's
follow. So
nothing,
we'll
dude. You're
see.
just throwing out money at this point. You're burning
Yeah.
it. You might as well if you're gonna whatever $5 you're gonna send right now, just Venmo OTD Skull. Nah, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. But yeah. So we will as the season goes along, gets a little more nitty gritty. We will be diving a little bit deeper into it. But wanted to give you guys a little bit of our thoughts right now, season as that is in its beginning. But we will now move to these big bad players in the NBA that y'all love to hear about so much all over Twitter. These guys are, super, super big on social media. Their faces are always out there, easy to talk about. Stars League. So we'll get into it. Miles, you want to start us off with some NBA?
Dude, I think we honestly let's just talk free agency and trade rumors, right? I think that's the main storylines. I think right now, after the news we heard earlier today, we just kind of got to start with Paul George. So I'm seeing
Unreal.
4 years, $190 million contract. Right? Is that correct? Is that the latest?
Dude, I honestly, it might even be like
Or
226.
no, it's 226 over 5 years. I think it's probably like a
Yeah.
extension or
As you
something.
can see,
But
I'm not happy that I got that right because that is just
that's nuts. What,
dude. And you know
so
what?
so
No,
let me
go ahead.
ask you though, what makes you say I can lock up Paul George after this year's playoff P performance, right? What says to you that I can fire Doc Rivers and lock up Paul George for this much? I just want to hear your take on this.
Great question. Literally great question, Miles. I have no idea. I woke up to this, so this was like one of the first things I heard about this morning. Besides my like random Knicks news that I hear, they got Scalabissiere. No one cares, but no, I heard about this Paul George thing, and I was just like, dude, honestly, Ballmer and Jerry West have done great for the Clippers, right? Like they got Paul George and PG. We thought that was a great move. They basically brought the Clippers out from being, I don't want to say nothing, but they've never been able to hop over the Lakers in terms of LA, and they were starting to, like, especially this last year, they really were starting to. So I was behind it, loved what they were doing. Now I just think they're old and ridiculous because, like, dude, Paul George was literally a ghost in the bubble. I was betting on his overs, bro. He was a ghost, dude. I don't get it. I don't get it, dude. If you have any answers for me, please. I don't know.
I have
no
none.
idea.
I have none. So that was mind baffling to me. Another thing that we saw earlier this week was the James Harden fiasco. So I'll back up, actually. Let's go back before James Harden has said this. Let's go to John Wall, right? So we touched on this a little bit in the last pod, I think. If not, it was definitely in a discussion beforehand, right?
Mhm.
John Wall is leaving where I'm at right now in Washington, D.C., and he is a Houston Rocket, and we got Russell Westbrook over here in D.C., not my team, but electric player to watch nonetheless, right? So we've got John Wall as a Rocket. Right now, you've got John Wall, you've got DeMarcus Cousins, you've got James Harden. What do you think about that trio? And then let's get into why you think James Harden might want to be traded to other contenders.
So, in terms of just the trio right now, because yeah, like you're saying, there's a good chance Harden is not part of that trio by the time this offseason is over. Even though it starts tomorrow, right? Next Pistons is tomorrow, so we're getting into it here. But I would say that is at best a 6 seed. Honestly, I think DeMarcus Cousins, and John Wall. That's kind of funny back from their Kentucky days. But Rockets are basically like scraping away to stay in the playoffs. Even, dude, they are faltering, and I don't think that. So I've heard a lot I've heard a lot of different things. So one thing I've heard about what's going wrong internally with the Rockets is Harden. I think
You've
it's
got the
definitely,
inside scoop now?
dude. I don't want to say this is an inside scoop. You could look it up yourself. I just looked it up.
No,
but people aren't. No, but people aren't
we
talking
got
about
sources.
Yeah, dude, I should source this. I should sort this, but I'm not going to.
No, go ahead.
Dude, people are not talking about this on ESPN and Fox. So I think his name is Tillman Furtada, or the Rockets. I don't want to butcher this. So
is he like the beat writer?
No, dude. So he is like the Rockets owner at this point.
Oh, okay. This guy, yeah.
Dude, this guy. Okay, here he is. Tillman Furtada. I think it's pronounced Furtada. So what I've heard about the Rockets is that Russell, a lot of players, but spearheaded by Russell Westbrook and James Harden, were not happy with Tillman because he's basically a Trump supporter. He's like this no masker, like super hard MAGA guy. And what I heard from, so I think it was Rick Bucher who reported this on Fox, but he didn't even like talk about it, dude. I was like, why not? But I don't know. Maybe they didn't want to get too political, so I get it. And I don't want to do that either. But this is just what I've heard was that players within the Rockets organization were like, we don't want to play under this guy anymore. And, I don't want to get into whether or not you think that's right or wrong, but that's just what happened. What I heard had happened. So, and then I think it goes along, but I think it goes right into, what James Harden and Russell Westbrook saw on the court. I don't necessarily think they worked together too well as a duo. I don't think they saw anything, in terms of the Rockets in the future. So
Yeah.
I do think it is interesting though, because I think the Rockets and Harden are kind of at a stalemate right now. Whether or not James Harden wants to leave because of Tillman Furtado, whether or not he wants to leave because he doesn't think they're going to be.
I think he needs a fresh start anyway. I think it's time. It's just about time.
It is, but they are a little bit stuck here because they got Harden did not take. I don't even. It was like $100 million, like some ridiculous contract. He just wouldn't. He said no, but at the same time, Brooklyn is making. So the main destination that people are talking about for James Harden is Brooklyn to play with KD, and Kyrie. But I don't see how Kyrie would like that's the thing. Brooklyn has not made it clear that they are willing to give up Kyrie or to make this trade possible. So I think the Rockets are a bit stuck right here, and I think they may actually roll with the three they have in Harden, Cousins, and Wall, and whoever else they have, like Ben McLemore. And they're going to be shit, and they're going to be ass. They're not going to be a playoff, or they'll be in the playoffs. They're not going to be a title contender at all, in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree. I've also heard Harden to the Sixers or the Bucks is something that he's also indicated. One thing
the
that
Bucks
I think
would be wild. That would be a wild move.
It would be wild, but I don't know how it happens. But I also think even if he can go to the Heat, I think that would be kind of sick too. I mean, Harden, Butler,
the Heat,
and Tyler Hero would be.
There was Giannis talk to the Heat, but I don't know. The Heat have kind of sort of faded
just kind of faltered. I think they're gonna wait it out until the free agency. Like I don't think Giannis signs the Supermax, dude. I mean, it was just kind of nuts. But
dude,
I don't know. You don't win a ring probably with the money in Milwaukee, but bro,
that was a big pickup for Milwaukee. I mean, I don't know.
Facts, but bro, a Supermax. I mean. Bro, Giannis has the potential to be the highest paid player in the league. And honestly, if I'm Giannis, I'm taking that bag and I'm buying a freaking NBA championship ring off of Michael Jordan or LeBron, bro.
Yeah, no, and apparently he loves Milwaukee, dude. He likes it. From all I've heard is Giannis loves Milwaukee. I don't know what about it, dude, but
he's the man anywhere he goes, but he's probably the extra man and Superman. I don't even know how to describe it. Extra.
I think he's kind of low key. I don't think he
Yeah, but he's still the man though.
Yeah, no,
in that city, that city is going to be on some LeBron James Cleveland shit if he leaves. They're going to be burning dirt. They're going to be it's going to be the end of the world for those guys because the Bucks just don't have the same attractiveness as some of your bigger cities and bigger money teams. It's just simply a fact. When LeBron left, if I'm a 28-year-old quite frankly, billionaire and best player in the league, and I've lived in Akron and Cleveland my whole life, and you try to get mad at me for going to Miami, you can just go fuck yourself. Quite literally. You know Seriously. What I mean? What?
No, I agree.
What?
Yeah.
So that's my take.
No, I agree. And you know what? We'll see how this all plays out. There's a couple more, we don't really want to get into it. Gordon Hayward to the Hornets, irrelevant, terrible contract next. So there's other ones like that you guys could just look into yourself. We won't talk about them here because the NBA is just ridiculous with all this stuff. No, do you have any more that you'd like to point out?
I mean, yeah, last thing is the AD max.
Okay.
5 years, $190 million. How many rings did him and LeBron get together?
Ooh, okay, good question. Because I was gonna say, yeah, I figured he'd sign that next. But all right. I think that depends. I think they do win this next year. I do. I think they'll win this next one. And then it really depends on, LeBron has, so LeBron signed 2 years, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's hard to make this prediction, dude, but I think he wins the next two. I think LeBron ends up getting 2 more rings. Then he'll tie Jordan for 6. And
yeah, we'll see what happens. I think they definitely grab a few more as well, too, whether that's 1 or 2. But I will say it's crazy because a lot of people are I think Brooklyn's got a good shot if KD turns, back into what he was.
And the East is an easy path, dude.
Easier. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Easier.
I'm very interested to see what happens in LeBron's next few years. He's older, but he still looks amazing.
Yeah.
As a player, so we'll see.
I'm excited for it. Real quick though, let's end the NBA segment here. Any thoughts on your Celtics going forward? What are you thinking about? How do you like what you're seeing?
Man, it's hard because, we've been almost conditioned to an extent to say, is Danny Ainge the right person to lead our franchise?
Because he's made
Uh,
good moves, but he's
he
also made
has, but he
he's
hasn't.
also
There's been no development of the talent that we've acquired. They've all just seemingly gone away for what seems to be nothing at this
yeah.
point. So
Except
so
for
my
Tatum and Jaylen Brown. Those
and I
two have been
hope to
great.
God that they stay forever, right?
Yeah.
But like we'll see. I think these next few years are pivotal, right? Because we start to come to the end of our true draft capital. We start to really have to try to lure players into Boston, and now like there's this whole movement of players being the proprietors and pioneers of choosing where they go, and Boston is just not that city for a lot of these players, especially a lot of these young black players who have been told and have heard stories about Boston and how that city is, right? So we'll
Mm,
see what happens. I don't know if you fire him or if you get rid of him. He's a Celtic great anyway. So, I think we got to really take a look, though, at if Brad Stevens is developing the talent that we want, right, at the level
yeah.
that we want it to be. And is Danny Ainge, the right guy? Is he the magician that we've made him out to be? So I think those
Mm.
are the two big questions for myself and for other Celtics fans. And obviously, we're not in the front office making decisions, right? So we just have to hope that the owners and the team have our back going forward. But what about you? What you got the Knicks? I mean,
Yeah,
anything is
yeah.
up, right?
Dude, and if anything, I think the Knicks, it's baby steps for us. So you're talking about, developing players. We're talking about developing an organization from basically the ground up at this point. It feels like
Fire your
every
owner.
single year. Please
I'm
fire the
out.
owner, dude.
Yeah.
Please. It'll never happen though. So, whatever. But I will say this is the best I've felt as a Knicks fan in an offseason in years. Leon, Big Daddy, Rose has been a beast. And they've really made some good moves in my opinion. Obi Toppin was my top guy that I wanted to get, and they got him. I'm so
Yeah.
happy about
Beast.
that.
That's a great pick. That's the first great pick I've seen for the Knicks in
In
probably like
and since
8 years.
Low key, since
Yeah.
Porzingis, dude, like
No,
they
actually.
had that good a pick.
Which
So I
felt like
love
8 years
him.
ago.
Yeah, and we hated the pick at the time. So this was a pick that I loved at the time. It was great. I also like Quickly from Kentucky. They got him. He's good, and
Yeah.
they're making
Great
some good
player.
moves here and there. They're signing like 1-year contracts, getting rid of like guys like Bobby Portis and all these dudes that are just complete like in total wastes of money. Like why? They're
Yeah.
just basketball players to be basketball players. So I like what I'm seeing. They're not going to make the playoffs this year, but they're on the up and up. Need RJ to play well. Need Obi to play well. I just want to see the young guys do well, and I'll be happy. Honestly, I need Julius Randle to get traded and let Obi start, and just let's see what happens. We'll see what Tom Thibodeau can do. But yeah, I'm looking up as a Knicks fan can be looking. I feel like I'm there right now, so I'm happy. I'm happy.
Yeah.
But yeah, real quick, I did want to ask. Do you have any quick and early predictions for MVP? Because I'm gonna go. The best odds is Luka Doncic for plus 400. I would send that. I think Luka is gonna win it, and he's gonna have the narrative, the numbers, and he's like a young and up and coming guy. I think he wins it. That's my bet for plus
Yeah,
400. Luka
I think
Doncic.
people forget that the media is the one that really plays the big role in predicting and choosing the MVP. And he's got the narrative, he's got the numbers, he's got the face of the NBA moving forward. It's his league, really, as you start to progress through the next few years. And I remember telling kids, even in my fraternity, like when this draft was happening, we had like arguments on who should go number one, and I was like, you guys have not watched enough of this kid. This kid is a
Dude, that
beast, and
Euro bias, bro. He broke it, I think, though, now. I think there's not
yeah.
going to be another guy that's
Yeah,
Euro that's going to be looked down upon just because he's
I
Euro.
don't know how he was looked down upon. In the second best league in the world, as a 19-year-old, he won a
Was playing
championship
against professionals, bro.
and was the MVP of that league. Like, what more do you
Dude,
need to see? I mean, I guess it
unreal.
was the athleticism of DeAndre Ayton, and then I don't even honestly know how there were other people picked ahead of him after DeAndre Ayton.
Ridiculous, bro.
So
It really
so
was.
we'll
But
see. But the Mavs clearly had the right idea, and
Porzingis.
I think that honestly, yeah, I think that it could be Luca. I guess my other candidate for MVP would be if not Luca. And I don't know if you have the odds on this.
I do. I
Um,
do. You can tell me who I got you.
yeah. So I'm thinking honestly, like it's a weird one. I feel bad to say it. I think in bias, really, I think Jason Tatum has a absolutely baller year coming off the contract
Wow.
extension, and I think that he takes the C's to at least another Eastern Conference final. So we'll see.
Wow. Yeah. If you bet Tatum, I think that's not even, it's like plus
It's not even
2,000.
on.
No, it's like plus 2,000. Like that's a crazy
Yeah.
bet. That's a low key one, but
I
maybe.
yeah, it's mad low key. I it probably doesn't happen, but that would be like something I would sprinkle.
Yeah,
50 to
I
win,
would say
50 to win a
no.
grand.
Luca's the easy. I like that actually, though. I do like having that because why not put $5 on it and then like if it hits, like you're
Come up
lit.
200 or so. Yeah.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
no, I think a better longer shot bet that a lot of people aren't talking about right now and they should be is Kevin Durant is plus 1,000. I would actually have
Oh.
no problem taking that because of his injury, I guess. He's plus
Yeah.
1,000 right now. Get on
Yeah.
it while you can. I don't think he is going to win MVP though cuz I actually do think that injury is going to hinder him a little bit. We'll
I
see.
think I
But
think
yeah.
LeBron gets another MVP before KD does.
Word, I am the biggest LBJ
What's
fan you'll find,
what's
so I'm
LeBron's
down for that.
odds?
He is at plus 700, so again, not a bad bet at all.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, that's not a bad bet. Steph Curry at plus 500, which I get because Clay is hurt. He's probably going to have to go off, and that's what they're thinking. But no, don't
I
think that'll
think I
happen.
think the Warriors are obviously a much better team this year, though.
Dude,
With
they
Clay
would have
hurt
been,
as well.
in my opinion, they would have been top 3 in contention for another finals if Clay hadn't gotten hurt.
Yeah, I
But
feel
it's
really bad
unfortunate.
for Clay Thompson, man. That is just
Hated that.
tough.
Really, really hate to see that, dude. Hopefully he recovers. You know, hope he's the same player when he comes back. But all right, yeah. So unfortunately, on that sad note, let's move out of
So somber.
basketball here. Yeah, sorry, Clay. But let's do a little recap here from our last podcast. I know that you mentioned a couple things about Ohio State
I hate them so
and they
much.
may or may not have worked out. I don't know if you wanted this
They
to
worked
happen
it out.
necessarily. All right, then go right ahead. What's going on with what's going on
Yeah.
in Columbus? What's up
So
over there?
so classic Big Ten just bending over backwards, and it's got to be for the conference money. If Ohio State wins this thing, each team in the conference gets a share of some money. But I don't think they even have a shot at winning because they're not going to get past Alabama if they play in that first game. If they stick at the 4 seed and the 1 seed, so I'm really not worried about that. I just don't think they were deserving of that spot, and I think I hope Northwestern beats the brakes off them in the in the Big Ten championship. It's not
That
gonna
would be
happen.
wild.
Not gonna happen, right? But that'd be 2020, and I would love it.
That's
I don't
so
think they're
funny.
deserving. And what I'll say is, I don't think that happens for any other team in the conference. If say
Oh no,
Nebraska or Iowa was in that position, it would be,
no
we'll
shot.
just let them
No,
play in the game. So
I
that's my
absolutely
bone
agree.
to pick. Every team in that conference agreed to the rules, and I've gotten a lot of pushback from some people listening to the podcast last week and stuff and commenting on our Instagram, DMing me personally on my Instagram, like all friends, all good, but some pushback saying, the rules are need to be more fluid, right? Need to be more dynamic because they were played, put into place so many weeks ago, and like it doesn't reflect the situation. But it's also, and it's not their fault, but it's also like every team in that conference agreed to those rules, and every team would not be getting the same level of support if it was not Ohio State. Another thing is the Big Ten could have literally started playing like every other conference out of the Pac-12
That was their
at the
issue to
same
me.
time, and that's their
Yep,
fault. Like it's
that was where they messed up.
it's ridiculous that they would bend over backwards. But I'll say this about Ohio State, and I'll leave it because I honestly can't stand to talk about them anymore. I think that it doesn't matter if they played in a Big Ten championship game. Clearly, the committee has said that they value them as what they are, right? I just think there's too many holes in that team. I was talking to a buddy of mine earlier today, and there was a tweet that went out that said, after Oklahoma game got canceled at West Virginia, bummer. I was supposed to be there with a few buddies. He was telling me essentially, or Lincoln Riley put out a tweet pretty much, or interview that said, if Ryan Day came calling, we'd be in Columbus to play them. And my buddy was telling me, he thinks Ohio State opens up as a 14-point favorite, and that just pissed me off today. But I'll let that be. I think they open up as a 3-point, maybe 4-point favorite.
Yeah.
I don't think that team is just too vulnerable in the secondary, and I think Spencer Rattler and our receivers would pick it apart. But unfortunately, that game will not be played. Obviously, it's a hypothetical. So we can leave
Yeah,
that there. I really can't stand to talk about Ohio State any longer, in all
dude.
honesty.
I feel you a little bit. I would tend to, again, I don't want to belabor the point on you then, but I would tend to lean more towards people want to watch Ohio State. So
Yeah, it's a
I'm
ratings
not as
thing, but
mad.
but
It's a
but
ratings
like
thing, dude. Like I kind of get
it's a
it, in
business,
my
but
opinion.
that's not the premise of the committee, right? The committee is there to put the four best teams in, and 5 games in, I'm not sure I can say that Ohio State is one of the four best teams.
All right. No, that is a fair argument. That is 100% probably the moral argument, but the reality of it is, money
Yeah,
controls it. So
I'm gonna be known as a freaking Ohio State like
a
hater.
hater,
If
yeah,
our
no, I know.
podcast ever were to go big for some reason, I'm sure I'll have like death threats in my apartment mailbox or whatever. But
Dude, because college fans are the worst, bro. They're
yeah,
they're 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 do or die for their team. But
yeah. Just wait
no,
till Texas is decent again, and everyone has to hear my takes on how much I hate Texas. But we'll leave
I
that for another day.
no, dude, I'll be with you on that. I hate Texas, dude.
Yeah,
Ellinger is like I just hate him, dude. I
yeah.
really don't
God,
like that guy, Sam. He's
I like his story, but I hate him.
I don't like him, dude. Like fuck his story, honestly.
It's so messed up.
Whatever, yo. But
Well, let's just leave that there. Let's
yeah.
just go on.
Yeah, no.
You,
I
yeah,
will I will get into a little bit of what I was receiving in my personal DMs. I was getting a lot of not hate per se, but I guess like question marks or I'll say hate from Eagles fans and for no reason really, because let's be real about it. I said that the Giants were the best team in the NFC East last week. Now
you might be onto something.
I think I'm onto something. I am because, well, I'm going to be completely upfront here as well. In the last podcast, I premised everything I said with the Giants are going to get blown out by Seattle. So I didn't see this coming. I don't think anyone did, including the Giants, except the Giants, literally, except Joe Judge, because he is just coaching his butt off, man. I can't even express it enough. This guy is it, bro.
Yeah.
And loved what I saw from the defense. I don't even really want to like. I loved what I saw from the defense, and in terms of the best team in the NFC East, I think they're right there. But Washington did win too, so
Yeah, that was a good win for them.
dude, that is honestly as big a win for them as it is as the Giants win was, because they're
the Giants
tied in
game
record.
That was at home, wasn't it, for the Giants?
Yeah, but there's no fans.
It's not that it really matters. Yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't really matter. Yeah, no, it doesn't really matter. But I said this. I said Ron Rivera, if I had to take another coach, he would be it in the NFC East. He's doing really well for Washington, and the only reason I think the Giants are going to win the NFC East, from an unbiased point of view, is because they beat Washington twice already.
Yeah.
I won't even say that they're like head and shoulders better than Washington right now. I think both teams are actually playing really well, relatively, because let's be real here, we're dealing with the NFC least. It's not like these teams are going to the Super Bowl. But I am very, very happy about my Giants. I'm excited to hopefully, I would say we're at like 75% chance here of them making the playoffs. I'll be able to watch them get pummeled in the first round. Maybe not. Last time I said it worked out. So we'll see. I'm really just going to be a fan on this one. You probably watched the game. You all have Red Zone. The Giants played well, and there's really no other way around it. The Giants played well, and I'm excited. That's where I'll leave it. I'm going to be a fan here. Love what we're seeing from the defense. Honestly, Wayne Gallman's looking like a beast. We got to get Danny Dimes back. Hopefully when we do, it'll be seamless, and we will be on our way to a division championship, and I'll be happy.
Right on. All right, let's get into some locks and let's wind this thing down. So last week we outlined a lot of locks. Some hit, some didn't.
Not too happy, but
I'm gonna recap on the ones I remember. Right, so I pulled in Louisiana Lafayette over App State, money line at plus 130, that hit. Bills plus 1.5. I think we were both on that. That also hit. Jets plus 8.5. That hit.
Crazy
us as well.
game, dude.
And what did I say? I said that the Jets could win outright, right? Didn't I say that? Yeah. And then classic, they threw the game.
They blew it, dude. I think, dude, I
Greg
honestly
Williams got fired for
it.
That's amazing.
Greg Williams was trying. They were trying.
They literally threw it.
Yeah, they threw the
game.
So ran again, man coverage against Ruggs, who's like literally just goes straight speed kind of guy. Like just that was obvious to me.
So I'm kind of blown about that. Auburn under 48.5. I played That was a bad beat. If you watched that game, I think me and Skull watched that one.
Yep.
It's 20-28 with like all of a minute left. Auburn has no timeouts. Texas A&M is at a 4th and 1 at like the Auburn 16, and they send the field goal unit, even though they have one of the best running backs in the nation. And even if they didn't
In a
convert,
rainy, windy day, like remember that game? It was like
I don't think it was raining. Was it raining on Monday? I
dude,
don't
I'm
know. It
pretty
was sunny.
sure.
No, it was sunny.
Then
But
maybe I'm thinking of a
regardless,
different game.
yeah, but regardless, like it pissed me off because even if, even if they didn't convert that 4th and 1, nothing was gonna like Bo Nix wasn't gonna drive down the field 80 yards with no timeouts and under a minute to score and hit a 2-point conversion to tie. Like that pissed me off. So Jimbo, if you see this, I want an apology, or a Venmo. OK State money line that didn't hit. They
I know
just
you didn't
sucked.
bet on this. I did want to say though that Coastal Carolina game was pretty wild. You kind of touched on them a little bit.
I teased it with the Clemson under, which did hit. Like I said in that game, I think Clemson gives me 55 and Tech gives me 10. Well, Clemson gave 45 and Tech gave 10. But I had a tease with BYU minus 2.5 and that was also kind of a bad beat because they literally would have won the game on that last second touchdown, but they got stopped like literally at the 2.
Yeah, that was a terrible beat.
So 2 bad beats on the weekend for me, and then Titans minus 5.5.
Biggest tampering.
Titans minus 5.5 was also not fun. You played Cardinals money line, which was an L. So, what else did you have? Do you have anything else that you played?
Yeah. So I had, we mentioned the Bills, had that. My lock of the week, Saints. I said bet the spread, which they hit, but I said they would win by 2 touchdowns. I actually think I might have said 21 points, but they got the dub, so I don't care. Didn't tease it. That was a good one. Yeah, Cardinals really blew me. Actually, I when I said at the time of our last episode, I said that I didn't put the Cardinals in my main parlay, and I did. I just didn't realize. So my lay was blown by that. I literally also had the Seahawks. Literally, like I'm gonna get roasted by Giants fans, but the Seahawks blew me like a good $120, dude. It was but
you were on the Bills and the Jets as well, so that's good money too.
Well, no, I wasn't on the Jets actually. I was not on the Jets.
You didn't play it?
Nah, did not play it, dude. I didn't like it. I actually had Raiders money line, which ended up hitting on that crazy play. So I was at the time, I was like, oh my gosh, let's go. But like Giants made me super happy. And then like I had to realize that my money was hurt. But so I had that. I also said to stay the hell away from Houston versus the Colts. Mm-hmm. So like that's a win-win. I feel like I won there. You know, if you guys stayed away, like let's go. And then I mentioned to look out. So Lamar played. So, I mentioned to look out for the Cowboys-Ravens game. If Lamar didn't play, I would have bet on the Cowboys. Lamar did play, and the Ravens actually looked the best they have all year, in my opinion. So, yeah, that was it. In terms of my betting, didn't do great, didn't do terrible. But when you parlay it, you have to do amazing. So I got to start doing that. I got to start doing the single bets.
No parlays, can't stand it.
Well, let's get on. Yeah, what do we got for next week, Miles? You want to start off?
I'm going to keep it low. I'm going to probably do just strictly college football, but I'm going to play first one.
NFL then for us.
Okay, first one I'm going to play Georgia Tech plus 7.5 at over Pittsburgh. I think it's at Georgia Tech. I think Pittsburgh is a pretty good team. They're pretty decent for ACC. I think Georgia Tech has some dynamic younger guys that we'll see what happens there. So I'm going to lay the points, Georgia Tech plus 7.5, so that they need obviously a touchdown and a field goal for Pitt to win. So I'm going to lay Georgia Tech plus 7.5 as my first lock. What do you want to play?
So I will. Miles, I'm gonna put you on the spot here. Your team is playing in 20 minutes. What do we got, dude? Rams or Patriots?
I'm leaning Pats plus 5.5. I think I can get it at, honestly. I saw
4.5, but I would actually lean that way too. I would lean that way.
Here, I can pull it right now. Last that I saw, I got Pats plus 5.5 that I can find for us. So I'm gonna play Pats plus 5.5. I really wasn't gonna lock this one up or play it actually, because it would be like an emotional hedge for me. Like I
totally get it. I totally get it.
So I'm just gonna run Pats plus 5.5 if I had to play it. That's my play. I think it's a Pats win 24-21 kind of game, but we'll see what happens. So a strong look at the under as well for those of you betting.
Word, yeah. So I just, you know what? I respect that. I just wanted to get Miles' opinion on it as a fan, but not as a bettor in this case. So respect it a little bit more.
Well,
But in
what do you
terms
got?
of, yeah, for me, I got in our game in 20 minutes. I would actually agree with you in that lean. I'm not going to put that on the card either. I have a single game parlay tonight with some player props and stuff. If you guys ever want to see that, you probably have to check out my TikTok for it because it'll be on there sometimes. But they never hit, so you don't want to hear about that. But going to Sunday, so we were just talking about them, and they're right back at it again with a crazy line. The Jets are playing Seattle right now. I think it's around minus like 13 and a half for Seattle, which I would take. I think Seattle comes in off that game against the Giants. The Jets come in minus a defensive coordinator and literally get blown out. I think it's 40-3 type. I would have no problem taking Seattle with the points. I think that's an easy win for them. I would
Yeah, I can get you
also
Seattle minus 13.5 on that.
13 and a half. Yeah, I would send that. I actually think that's the perfect line. I think they win by 14 or higher. Obviously, because I think they're going to hit that, but I think they win by right around that 14 mark. Could
two
be near
touchdowns.
21, 2 touchdowns. So I like that one a lot. I would definitely lean towards in the Tampa Bay Minnesota game. I think Minnesota here is really going to start to fall off. So I would take Tampa. I think 6.5 is what you can get it at.
Yeah, I can
Minus
get
six
you
and a half.
minus 6.5. Yep.
Yeah, so I would roll with Tampa there. Really like them. Um, and I think my biggest lock of the week, I'm going to stick with my Saints again. I'm going to go 2 in a row on the Saints and say I have here 6.5 for the
Yep.
Saints. I
I
would
can
run
get you
with
minus
that.
6.5.
I would
Dope.
run with the Saints again, dude. Those are my three, the ones that those three I'm definitely going to have in all of my cards this week. I like them a lot. But out of those three, I would definitely roll with New Orleans again. I'm gonna say they're my top lock of the week once again.
Okay.
So Taysom Hill, let's see
Word.
it, guy.
Let's see
Actually,
it.
Drew
I'm
Brees
gonna.
might be coming back soon. But either way, I would
Wow.
take the bet.
Yeah.
Either way, I would take the bet.
All right. Well, I'll lock in my two more that I have on the card. So I'm gonna go to Navy Army here, and I'm actually gonna play the total
Wow.
on this one. So the big matchup, the under I'm seeing at 38. I think it'll still go down to about 37. It's opened up at about 42.5. Unders and Service Academy matchups are like 36-9, and
Yeah, dude. Yeah.
like two pushes. So I'm just gonna take the points at
Imagine just running
38.
the option.
They literally, I think the average points in a Service Academy Army Navy game is like average about 32, 34. So I'm comfortable with 38. I'll lay it on that, and then I'm also gonna lock up. Let me just see if I can get the best odds here. They might have canceled. Oh, East Michigan, right? So Eastern Michigan is playing. Let me just pull this one up. Eastern Michigan is playing Northern Illinois, so a low key Maction game. I'm gonna
You
be
got
on.
those, bro. I love it.
I'm
I
gonna
love
be
it, though.
on Eastern Michigan minus 4.5 because I think this is a 2 touchdown one. I've been riding Eastern Michigan for some time now, so I'm gonna play Eastern Michigan minus 4.5. Look for them to cover as well. And then my last play, honestly, I just got to do this one. Little logic on this one. Wake Forest at Louisville plus 1.5. I think Wake Forest wins this big. I'm thinking like 37-21 kind of game.
Wow.
Nothing has
Okay.
shown me that Louisville should be favored. You've got some players like Tutu Atwell opting out, really late in the season now. And I think the whole like Wake Forest Louisville controversy from a few years back, I think it's still in Scott Satterfield's head. So I'm gonna go Louisville, Wake Forest to cover as a dog on the road.
All right. Word. So lock those in, my guys or girls who are watching. Lock those in. Make your money. It's always nice to get a like random weekend payment every Monday. You know what I'm saying?
Love it. Or Venmo out.
or like you have to go into your second bank account to hopefully not overdraft.
Negative.
Nah.
That's not us.
That ain't us. That ain't us. We're winners. But so I think that's what we got for this episode. Miles, if you wanted to add anything else, go right ahead.
I've got nothing for the end of this. Of course, I was supposed to go to Oklahoma, West Virginia on Saturday. That's canceled, so it'll be a relatively chill weekend here in DC. What I will say is, we're working on getting our intro and outro. So you'll just have to, again, listen to the soothing sound of our voices as we close this out.
Off the dome. You know the vibes.
Hopefully next week we can have intro and outro for every one of our beautiful listeners.
Yes, sir.
All
so
300 of you.
300. Wow. Is it up to
I'm
that?
capped. I'm capped.
Dude,
I'm so capped.
We're moving up, all right?
No, it's not. It's not 300. It's like 70, but I'm capped, bro. I'm capped. We're gonna be big though. I think we have we've got what it takes. So
well, it all depends on you guys. If the listeners like us, follow us. At what is it? OTD Pod on Instagram.
Yep, so
we got
Instagram.
Off the Dome. Go ahead. No,
Instagram OTD_pod. Twitter is the same thing. OTD_pod. Then our TikTok is what? TikTok has got is the movement.
TikTok is the move. I'm the only, I guess within my sphere of friends, I'm the only guy who's big on TikTok, along with Myles.
TikTok is hilarious, bro.
Bro, peep my TikTok, OTD Skull. But Off the Dome Sports at Off the Dome Sports is the podcast TikTok, where we'll be posting our best highlights from the videos that we are creating from this.
Right on.
These episodes, you know the vibes. I keep saying the vibes, dude.
You can follow
the vibes.
You can follow him on Twitter and Instagram at OTD_skull and at Chris M. Scully. You can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at Myles397. We look forward to having you all listening to the next few episodes of Off the Dome Sports Podcast here. So please give us a like, follow our Instagram, follow our pages, give us a comment in our material and our content and all over our podcast and shit like that. So catch you.
See you guys later.